Welcome to episode 3 of the Dark Side podcast. This month we will be looking at a key concept emphasized in the 2013 regional training seminars, the tactical foul. Let's get started.
Felipe tugged back by Brad Evans. That will be another free kick and at least a cursory word from Silvio Petrescu. It'll be more. It will be the first yellow card of the season.
Yeah, you're going to find that more often than not when you have a player in the attacking half. If he's pulled back when he looks to be getting into a good offensive rhythm with his team, you're going to find a yellow card. And Felipe turned Brad well on that occasion, and the only thing that Brad had to go for him was just a little tug of the shirt. And the referee's told if there's a tug of the shirt, it's a yellow card, and Brad gets the first yellow card of the year.
When considering a challenge for potential misconduct, we typically evaluate whether that challenge is careless, reckless, or involves excessive force. U.S. Soccer's advice to referees defines these categories as careless being, quote, just a foul, reckless being a cautionable challenge for unsporting behavior, and challenges involving excessive force being considered send-off offenses for serious foul play. When we look at this challenge, however, it clearly does not escalate above the level of careless, yet the referee cautions the player for unsporting behavior. Why? There is a subclassification of fouls that are defined as unsporting behavior known as tactical fouls. The foul shown in the previous clip fits under this category. Tactical fouls always need to be recognized as cautionable offenses. It is 100% essential for a referee to be able to recognize a foul as tactical so it can be dealt with appropriately. For this month, we are going to first define a tactical foul and explain why they occur, then discuss the when, where, and what kind of components involve these fouls. Finally, we'll finish with a discussion of the options available for the referee to deal with them. The tactical foul is almost always limited to the careless variety. When evaluated in a vacuum, independent of the game situation, tactical fouls almost always look like simple fouls. The difference in recognizing a foul as tactical is to recognize its intent and how the foul occurs within the greater scope of the big game picture. But wait, you say, all we've been hearing about over the last few years is that referees shouldn't be trying to read players' minds, that intent is moot. Well, intent is one component of evaluating serious foul play, and yes, we have gravitated away from trying to rely on mind reading in the evaluation of serious foul play level challenges. In tactical fouls, intent has a great deal to do with why they occur. Nonetheless, we're not asking you to read the player's mind. Instead, you have to have a wider understanding of the entire play and understand how the positioning and movement of the players can create a scoring opportunity that the defense may neutralize by fouling. The one underlying feature of all tactical fouls is that they are performed in order to break up an attack or counterattack. The foul is what we call cynical. It is done on purpose in order to keep that attacker from continuing with his or her push towards goal. The foul may be on or off the ball. Again, while we cannot read a player's mind, evaluating an attack sequence will help us become more effective at recognizing a tactical foul for what it is. The easiest way to do this? Count players. In soccer, most teams are taught to defend in numbers, meaning they want to outnumber the number of attackers coming at them. This allows them to put 2 players on the ball, while also being able to mark and account for every other attacker. Therefore, when an attack or counterattack is launched, we need to be aware of how many attackers are involved in the attack versus how many defenders are back to defend. An even-up situation, 3v3, 4v4, is a situation that has a high probability for a tactical foul. If the attacker on the ball beats his or her defender, this creates a numerical superiority that can then be exploited by the offense. As a result, the beaten defender may choose to foul the attacker who has beaten him in order to A, prevent that numerical superiority from happening, and B, allow teammates during the ensuing dead ball to get behind the ball on the ensuing restart and restore a numerical defensive advantage. Another clue that can help us identify a situation ripe for a tactical foul is when the attacking team begins to get players behind the defending team's midfielders. A fast-paced attack or counterattack where you note attackers are overwhelming the defending team's midfielders will easily create numerical superiority, and the defending team will implement the tactical foul to slow things down and reestablish players behind the ball. A good referee will need to track the positions and roles of the players on the field so that it becomes easier to see when this happens. Understanding the concept of defending in numbers, now we can start to think about when and where, in the game and on the field, these events happen. Generally speaking, the preference of the fouling team is to commit tactical fouls where the ensuing free kick will be less dangerous. These fouls will typically occur in the midfield, oftentimes on the fouling team's attacking side of the halfway line. Again, be aware that the defending team is short on numbers in the back, creating a situation where the foul gives the defense time to bring numbers behind the ball. More specifically, we can focus on the typical victims and situations where tactical fouls can happen. Most teams nowadays will typically launch fast counterattacks on the wings because speedy and skilled players, think Cristiano Ronaldo or Gareth Bale, or from Major League Soccer Graham Zusi, can be used to exploit the defense's flanks and fire in crosses. Also, as most goal-scoring opportunities will come from the center of the field where the shooting angle is dramatically improved, defenses will try to concentrate players in the middle, leaving the flanks less congested. The manner in which the game has evolved has led to teams launching rapid counterattacks down the wings, and as a result, large numbers of tactical fouls will occur near the touchlines, giving the defense time to organize and mark targets for subsequent crosses. In seeming contrast to the idea that tactical fouls are supposed to occur in less dangerous areas of the field, there is another part of the field where they can occur, around the defending team's penalty area. Obviously, free kicks around the penalty area are very dangerous, but what needs to be considered is that a free kick that is 19 to 30 yards from goal is always going to be preferable to a penalty kick or an unchallenged shot on goal. If a defender is beaten near his or her own penalty area, that defender may choose to foul before the attacker enters the penalty area and prevent an ensuing dangerous shot, or may simply be making sure that the attacker is fouled before he or she enters the penalty area to earn a penalty kick. Certain situations also lend themselves to the tactical foul. Keeping in mind the concept of numbers behind the ball, there are certain times in a match where defense will become susceptible to the counterattack and therefore open the door for tactical foul use. For example, on a corner kick, many teams will bring their tall physical center backs up to try to win the ensuing corner kick in the air. Doing so will leave the team in possession of the corner kick susceptible to a counterattack. If the corner kick is claimed by the goalkeeper, a well-trained team will then launch a quick counter to take advantage of the fact that the center backs are so far forward. Similarly, there are game situations where a team will press its defenders forward in order to get a result. For example, if they're trying to tie or win a game. Obviously, no team likes to lose, but a good understanding of the competition table and the impact of the game result on both teams' futures can dictate in-game tactics. A perfect and famous example of this was the 2010 World Cup group match between the United States and Algeria. Both teams entered the late stages of this match desperate to break a 0-0 deadlock, and as a result threw players forward with abandon in an attempt to win the game and advance to the knockout stage. Algeria exploited a numerical advantage against an exhausted U.S. defense to get a tremendous unchallenged header against the U.S. goal, but hit a weak ball directly at U.S. goalkeeper Tim Howard. Howard, recognizing that Algeria had pressed forward and that his own teammates had risked a defending sequence by not getting back, immediately launched a U.S. counterattack because he knew the U.S. had several skilled attacking players forward and behind the Algerian midfield, Landon Donovan, Josie Altidore, Clint Dempsey, and Edson Buttle, creating a 4v2 advantage. The result of the play is now etched in American soccer folklore, but this is a situation where, if one of those Algerian defenders had the opportunity, a tactical foul would have made perfect sense. As a referee, this needs to be recognized and dealt with should it happen. As we have discussed, the tactical foul has been identified by the governing bodies as the cause of a great deal of frustration amongst players, coaches, and spectators. FIFA would like referees to deal with it appropriately and do what is necessary to eliminate it from soccer matches. Tactical fouls are generally recognized as unsporting behavior, but we'd like referees to understand that there are options available. Not all tactical fouls are created equal. Sometimes the referee has no choice but to pull a yellow when the foul is so cynical or deliberate, or when the numerical advantage is so obvious there is no way to hide behind a broadcast message and avoid a yellow card. Not having the courage to pull a card in this situation will set a standard for that game and result in proliferation and escalation of not just the number of tactical fouls, but also begin to push them from careless to reckless due to burgeoning frustration. But sometimes the foul could simply be clumsy. This is more common at lower skill levels. Granted, concerns over numerical advantage may still be visible, but perhaps not as obvious, and in these situations the referee is presented with options. The caution may still be given, but the referee may choose to lecture the player and warn him or her about future fouls. This is a risk, and the referee who makes this choice must be prepared to come back with a caution for persistent infringement should the same player fail to heed the warning, or be prepared to raise the level of punishment if other players choose to test whether the line just drawn will be enforced. Referees need to be very careful when not issuing a card in a tactical foul situation and have to be 100% aware and conscious that they are taking a risk. That is, they still need to recognize that the foul may have been or was tactical. Tactical foul recognition and management are absolutely essential skills in being able to move from the standard grade 8 entry-level referee to the next level of officiating. Officials who wish to progress in their referee careers must learn to recognize and manage these fouls appropriately. Failure to do so would be an extremely troubling observation for any assessor who is assessing a referee for upgrade to the state level. We encourage all referees to learn to read play and recognize these fouls, but for those who wish to progress in their careers, this skill is an absolute in your knowledge base.